If you look around your life and see a graveyard of unfinished projects, a guitar collecting dust, a half-built website, books you swore you'd finish, workout plans you abandoned, you probably feel a very specific kind of shame. A quiet voice telling you something is wrong with you. Society even has labels ready. They call you unfocused, inconsistent, a quitter. You might have repeated the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none, so many times, it feels like a personal diagnosis. But you were never told the full quote. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. And psychology suggests something even more surprising. This scattered feeling you hate so much might actually be evidence of a highly adaptive brain. You're not failing to specialize. You're unconsciously building what researchers sometimes describe as an M-shaped mind, multiple areas of depth connected by curiosity. While the world keeps telling you to pick one lane and stay there forever, your nervous system is preparing you for something different. Because the modern world is no longer stable. For most of the last century, success was an I-shaped game. You picked one skill, went deep, and stayed there for life. Like practicing golf on the same course for 30 years. But today, you live in what psychologists call a wicked environment. Rules change constantly, industries evolve overnight, and entire careers disappear in a decade. In a world like that, extreme specialization can actually become fragile. So your brain does something intelligent. It pulls you toward different domains. One year you're obsessed with design. Next year it's fitness, then business, then music. From the outside, it looks chaotic. But internally, you're collecting data, and this is where the real advantage appears. Psychology calls it far transfer, the ability to take ideas from one field and apply them creatively to another. Specialists rely on near transfer. They solve familiar problems with familiar tools. But people like you connect distant dots. The programmer, who once studied art, understands aesthetics in ways pure engineers don't. The entrepreneur, who trained in sports, understands discipline differently. The musician, who learned coding, sees patterns others miss. Your value isn't just depth, it's synthesis. But even when you understand this, there's still a painful problem. You look around and see people your age becoming managers, directors, experts, and you feel behind. Like you're still at the starting line, while everyone else moved ahead. That feeling happens because you're measuring yourself with the wrong geometry. You're not T-shaped with one specialty. You're M-shaped, multiple pillars built across time. And here's the critical rule most people miss. You cannot build every pillar at once. The people who succeed with this wiring practice something called serial mastery. They live in seasons. One season for art, another for career, another for learning. Nothing was wasted. Each phase built a pillar. I once read about a man in his 50s who finally found peace with this. He stopped forcing himself to choose between programming and creativity. Programming became the pillar that paid the bills. Music, philosophy, and game design grew on evenings and weekends. He even turned down promotions to protect his mental energy. Years later, those skills merged into his own projects. That's the M shape in action. And there's one final trait that makes people like you incredibly resilient. It comes from evolutionary biology. Redundancy. In nature, redundancy isn't inefficiency, it's survival. Elephants, for example, have multiple copies of cancer-fighting genes. If one fails, another takes over. Your many interests work the same way. If one career collapses, you pivot. If one skill becomes obsolete, you adapt. You're not scattered. You're diversified. You're not wasting time. You're building security. So stop apologizing for your unfinished hobbies. Those weren't failures. They were semesters in the university of your own evolution. You were never designed to be just one thing. You were built to connect worlds, ideas, and skills that others can't even see together. And in the future, that's coming. That ability might be one of the most valuable traits a human can have. If this describes you, drop a heart in the comments. And if you want to learn how to structure your seasons intentionally, check the description and subscribe for For more deep psychology like this,